Hare Krishna, all. Today's topic is how to overcome anger in the mind and heart. Of course, we know that Rupa Goswami describes that anger can be dovetailed in the service of Krishna, as Hanuman did when he burnt down the various homes of Ravana, the Rakshasas in Sri Lanka. Arjuna also used anger in the service of Krishna when he fought on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, killing many great Maharathis, and even came in front of Bhishma Dev. Of course, Bhishma Dev was extremely powerful. So anger is being used in this way in the service of Krishna. Here we're talking about anger caused by one's own self-centeredness, the false ego, ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate, that in the material world, one who's in the illusion, ichadvesha sumutena dvandva mohina bharata, sarvabhutani samoham, that the foolish living entity who considers himself to be this material body and mind, subtle and gross bodies, is constantly obsessed with gratifying himself, assuming that satisfaction comes from indulging in sense pleasures. So here we have some chapters referring to the anger issue. Of course, when a person is lost in the material environment, the material whirlpool, influenced by the lower modes of nature, Rajagun and Tamagun, of course, Rajagun is characterized by unlimited amounts of materialistic desires, unlimited amounts of endeavor or obsession with material activities, and ultimately the contact between man and woman for mutual sense pleasure. So Prabhupada states in the 14th chapter on the modes of material nature, Loba pravitam aramba karmana ashama spriha Rajaniyatani jayante Vivide Bharitarshava. So greed, loba pravitim, hard labor for getting more money, more things to gratify my senses, ultimately. Spriha, intense desire to enjoy the senses. It's also described in the 18th chapter, Vishyendriya samyoga yatad agri mitopamam, which means contact with the senses and some sense objects is happiness and mode of pleasure. Yatad agri mitopamam. In the beginning it tastes like nectar. Man and woman meets each other, they're very stimulated, and then they titillate each other's senses, they get involved in a relationship. But these things always end up, it says, pariname vishameva visham, that ultimately things become like poison. So we're going to look at that now. Nectar in the beginning, poison in the end, characterized by the objects of the senses engaging selfishly with the senses. So here, text 56, one who's not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries. So, adhyatmika klesh, adhibhotika klesh, adhitaivika klesh. Or related when there's happiness. Some people, sometimes there's happiness, sometimes there's distress. Yomam rishatina dveshti subha parityagi. So, one who's equal both in rishati, dveshati, happiness and misery. and who doesn't care about auspicious or inauspicious, subha subha parityagi, who is really detached from these things. Krishna says in the 12th chapter, the person is very dear to him. So here, one has to be free. Krishna is telling Arjuna, one who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, called the sage of steady mind. So anger is mentioned here, attachment, fear. So in this particular chapter, we know that Krishna explains the cycle, the scenario. Dhyato vishita pumsam sangat teshu prajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama krodho bijayate. That while contemplating the objects of the senses within the mind is the boss, it's the superior superintendent over the senses. So dhyato vishayopam sangat sanjayate. Dhyato vishayopam while meditating on the senses, one develops attachment. Sangam sangate kama. One is meditating on the objects of the senses, and then from that comes lust. Kama krodho bijayate. From lust, one becomes frustrated. That is a scientific, axiomatic fact. One indulges his senses unrestrictedly in sense objects, sense gratification. Then what? The consequence of that is frustration, which is an effect of or synonymous with anger, or it leads to anger. Frustration, misery, anger. One is angry. It is an element within the consciousness, anger. So here it's stating that the great munis, that they are being able to control their senses. Of course, stita dir prasidyati means that the devotee of the Lord doesn't mechanically, like the mystic yogis, try to just, hammer down on his senses, like just grip his senses. No. Iha yasya harir dasye karmana manasa gira nikalasva piyavasta su jivan mukta sayuchate. That the recommended process is bhakti yoga, where one iha yasya harir bhaktir, one uses his mind and his senses in service of the owner of the senses. Rishikena sevanam bhaktir uchate uttama. That one who knows that Krishna is the source of pleasure and uses his senses in Lord Krishna's service. Yoginam api savrisham madgaten antaradmam. Krishna says, the 6th chapter of all the different yogis, one who has full faith in me, shradhavam paryotetas, timi yuktatamo, that he is the highest of all yogis, one who has full faith and engages his full reality, all his faculties, how to please Krishna. Krishna is the goal. Vasudeva param gatim. Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva, is Krishna. He is param gatim. He is the goal of everything. Why? Because he tells Arjuna, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sridham sarvabhutanam gyatvamam shanti vichiti. 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram ya Krishna, I am the enjoyer. I am the one to whom everyone should offer their service, offer everything to him. Because sarvaloka maheshwaram, he created all the planets, and we happen to be on this planet. Earth planet, Bhumi planet, Bharadvarsh planet. We're on this planet, but who made the planet? Who made all the species of life? So whoever the proprietor is, that's who we have to serve. We're thinking, I'm the proprietor, I'm the enjoyer, but that is wrong. the hand can only enjoy when it serves the stomach. So the living entity, part and parcel of Krishna, can only really experience peace and happiness when he connects back to Krishna in the mood of service. Krishna says, Machita Madgata Prana Bodhyantas Parasparam. That in the 9th chapter, thinking of me, now devotees, Machita Madgata Prana. Their lives are surrendered to me. They're always thinking about me. In this way, they become very happy. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They become satisfied and happy. Otherwise, the concomitant result of trying to selfishly indulge in sensual delights. The highest, of course, is the Pumsos Trio Maituni. One wants a beautiful woman like that. This is the whole world is going around on this merry-go-round of sense pleasure, and therefore the whole world is unhappy. People don't know this science of Bhakti Yoga, the art of living. So the great Munis, they engage all their senses in the service of the Lord. Knowing that Krishna Vasudeva is the Supreme, to whom all our focus should be on. So Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Bhavu Jnana Tapasa. So Vitaraga Bhayakrodha, being freed from attachment, fear and anger. Manmaya Mam Upashritaha. By engaging in remembering and serving the Lord. So you become free, first of all, from attachment. Attachment means basically sochati and kankshati, hankering for something, and then when you get it and it's not satisfying, then you lament. So this is going on in the material world. Icha dvesha samutina dvandva mohina bharata. Sarva bhuteshu samoham. People are all bewildered by this desire and hate. Desiring and then hate. The Lord has arranged the world in such a way that one who becomes independent of following the injunctions and the scriptures and the ordainments and the instructions of Lord Krishna, or the Supreme Lord, the Lord of Dharma, then this is what happens. Desire and hate. Icha dvesha smutina dvandva mohina bharata. Icha dvesha. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, but now I'm lamenting about it. So, the next reference is text 62. We spoke about this. Jayato Vishyo Pumsham Sangateshu Pajayate. Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Kama Krodho Bijayate. Krodho Bhavati Samoha. Samoha Smriti Vibramat. Smriti Brahmat Buddhi Nasho. Buddhi Nasho Pranashiti. So one may be going through his life, but then he starts thinking about sense objects, sense pleasure, and what happens is becomes attached, and from attachment lust arises, burns like fire, and is never satisfied. Kama esha krodha esha rajaguna samudbhava. Krishna tells Arjuna in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that it is lust only, kama esha krodha, which eventually, subsequently becomes anger. Krodha esha, rajaguna samudbhavaha. It is born of the mode of passion. The mode of passion. The mind becomes full of passion. The the senses become uncontrolled, full of passion. Mahashano Maha Shanta. Mahashano Mahatanto. That is the great sinful enemy of the world, this lust. So here, in the purport of text 262, it's described that even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva are influenced by this lust, which leads to anger. So we know that Lord Shiva was meditating on Mount Kailash, and Parvati, she wanted to have a child. So she came and agitated him with her feminine gestures, her feminine charms. And as a result, Kartikeya was born, the first son of the son of Lord Shiva. However, when Maya Devi personified, the wife of Lord Shiva, tried to distract or seduce Haridas Thakur from his chanting of 192 rounds every day, she was unsuccessful, and therefore she took the initiation from Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is known as the Namacharya in this age of Kali. Every day he chanted 300,000 names of God every single day. So he was born in Bengal into a Muslim family. But then he became a great devotee of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here Prabhupada is describing Haridas Thakur. He's also describing Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya is a great devotee of the Lord, and anytime that some material lust came within his mind, he would nisjuvanam cha, he would feel like spitting. So he was a great devotee of the Lord who understood. It is called Maitunya Agara. Maitunya Agara means the shackles of sex desire. It's a shackle, like a chain, and it's binding everyone to this material world. So then the next reference is 63, which I mentioned, Kruda Bhavati Samoha, Samoha Smriti Brahmat Buddhinasho, Buddhinasho Pranashyati. From anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, Samoha, we get Smriti Vibhramaha, memory loss, memory bewilderment. When the memory is bewildered, then Buddhinasho, intelligence is then lost. Lost of intelligence. Mind is foggy. Mind is overwhelmed by a great black cloud. And one assumes himself to be like an animal, like just a material body. And then one falls down. Buddhinasho pranashyati, which means to fall down. So in this purport, we're just learning that Krishna consciousness is really the way, the path of real freedom from lust. We have many examples where great yogis will become overwhelmed by this anger, lust and then anger. One is Vishwamitra Muni in the Ramayana. He was meditating, very extreme meditation, very extreme. Like just eating air for 1,000 years. So the demigods got very envious. They thought, oh, he's going to be too powerful. So then they sent an apsara, a goddess, a society girl called Menaka from the heavenly planets, Apsara Loka. And then she came and seduced him, and he fell down. Then he became very angry, and he cursed her. So this is the entanglement here in the world. We can go to chapter 5. There's a reference there about anger. 5:26. So we know that sometimes we get very angry because we're not able to tolerate someone doing something, or we don't like someone, and we become angry. They're annoying. It's kind of anger. I become annoyed. That means your mind is not controlled. Guranga Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichana Todor Eva Sahishnuna. That the tree is very, very tolerant. Whether there's 50 degrees heat, like now in the summer, 50 degrees in New Delhi, or cold, like in Arctic countries. Russia is very cold, -50. But the tree is very tolerant. Titikshava Kunika Surida Sarvabhutanam. So we have to learn tolerance, and the only way we can learn tolerance is to fill our hearts with Krishna consciousness. Fill ourselves with Krishna. Because Krishna helps us to become fully satisfied within. Self-illumination. Then there's Shanti. Gatvamam Shanti Mrichati. When we really know Krishna, when we develop some loving devotion to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the center of everything, the cynosure of all our existence, then there's so much satisfaction. Even Haridas Thakur is being beaten in 22 marketplaces by the Muslim constables, and he should have died, being beaten with huge whips. But he was just tolerant. He was so tolerant. He simply tolerated. So the great devotees of the Lord, they're transcendental to becoming angry. Yasmin nodvajate loko nodvajate chaya harshamarsa bayodvegar mukteya sachame priya. Which says, you're very dear to me if you're never disturbed by anyone and you don't cause disturbance to anyone. So both ways. You don't disturb and you're never caused to be disturbed. There's no cause for you to be disturbed. Titikshava. So 526 describes Kamakroda vimuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abito brahmanirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Those who are free from anger and all material desires. See how they go hand in hand. Freedom from anger and material desires. Kam, Krodh, Lobh. Those are material desires, Kam and Lobh. And then there's anger. If my desires are not fulfilled, then I become frustrated and I manifest anger. So Kama, Krodha, Vimuktanam. One is free from these things, Kama and Krodha. They're actually self-realized. They understand that the soul is only happy and satisfied when it uses its body. The soul is known as the knower of the body, or the owner of the body, the knower of the body. When it uses all the senses, the eyes, ears, tongue, nose, skin, touch, the mind is also like a sense. When we use this sarvapadi vinurmaktam tat paradvena nirmalam, rishikena sivanam bhakti uttama. When we use it in Rishikesh, the owner of the senses, we become self-controlled. Self-controlled means dhira. One who becomes self-controlled and who is constantly endeavoring for perfection. What is perfection? According to the great Vaishnava philosophers, the Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the great acharyas who were disciples of Lord Chaitanya. Satisfaction and self-realization and the perfection of life means how to love God, how to love Krishna. Yomam pasyati sarvasya sarvam chamai pasyati. One who sees me in everything, and who sees me in everything, and who sees everything in me. That is one who loves Krishna. This is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Majiji Mam Namaskuru Mama Vaishasi Yukbad Mam. One, Krishna says, always keep your mind on me. You can't think of someone unless there's some love and affection. Manmana Bhava. Some bhav, some emotion. So the great acharyas, the great sages, the great devotees are gradually helping us in our process of bhakti yoga, devotion to the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Pada Sevanam. Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. Prahlad Maharaj tells his father that there are 9 processes of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. That's the most important ones. There are 9 processes. Savayamana Krishna Padara Vindaya Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanavarnane. Maharaj Ambarish was fasting, and then Durvasa Muni came to visit him with his thousands of disciples. And Maharaj Ambarish, he was asking his advisors, I have to break fast, but Durvasa Muni is here, and I shouldn't break fast and eat in front of Durvasa Muni. What should I do? So his advisors, the Brahmins, said, simply have some water. It's fasting, not fasting. It's breaking fast, not breaking fast. So Ambarish Maharaj drank some water. Durvasa Muni became very, very angry. These mystic yogis, they're doing this so much tapasya that sometimes they become very angry. Too much tapasya, the heart becomes hard without offering it to Krishna. So Durvasa Muni became very angry, and he created a big demon to kill Maharaj Ambarish. And when the demon started to attack Maharaj Ambarish, who's a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Ambarish Maharaj was protected by Lord Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra. The chakra came and killed the demon, and then it went after Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni had so much mystic power, he was traveling out throughout all the universe, all the planetary systems, all the way past Dhruvaloka, Jnanaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, all the way. Then he went to Vaikuntha and he said, Vishnu, help me, help me. Your Sudarshan is going to kill me. And Lord Vishnu said, your only recourse is to take shelter of the one devotee, great devotee, who you offended. So you have to go and beg forgiveness, Shema. And of course, devotee is very Shema, so his life was spared. But anger was there, great anger. So, therefore, Krishna is recommending to Arjuna, you simply engage everything. Anasaktasya Vishyan Yatarham Upayunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagyam Uchite. Devotees don't reject, but they say, oh, that belongs to Krishna. Let me offer it to Krishna. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakti prayachati. Let me offer everything to Lord Krishna. This is the direction and instruction of Lord Krishna. Not to reject. Prapanchikateya Buddha Harisambani Vastuni Umukshavi Parityagi Falgu Varagam. To say, oh, this is not. Falgu Varagya, false renunciation. What are you going to do? Renounce your breath? Renounce the body? No. So use it in the service of the Supreme Proprietor, Lord Krishna. That's the idea. So there we have it. That's a little touching on the problem of anger. The nutshell solution is Rupa Goswami says, always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. Always chant the holy names of Lord Krishna without trying to avoid the offenses. Sadhu Nindanam, offending other devotees. Guru Nindanam, offending one's guru. These are big offenses. Blasphemy of devotees, first one. Not like that. We have to avoid all offenses. And then while chanting the holy name of the Lord becomes very peaceful. Gatpamam Shanti Mrichati, one becomes very peaceful. And without peace, how can there be any happiness? So, peace, and then there is some happiness. Prashanatma, happiness. Hare Krishna.